Team 4 of 52 teams of 8. Help make America wiser and kinder, with antique rival wisdom team quotes that have passed the test of time to make humanity great, with words of wisdom to encourage, educate, and entertain generations for centuries. Give your kids free easy extra advantage math, spelling, and reading workbooks you can download for free at stop2think.com. Free easy math wisdom workbooks with Octo-Repetition to grow math self-confidence. Free easy alpha Cypher coded puzzles, teach letters, numbers, and phrases using antique wisdoms that encourage and educate. And since time is money, practice reading faster with 52 teams of antique rival wisdoms that have passed the test of time to encourage, educate, and entertain generations for centuries. Team quote 4.1. Kindness is the sunshine in which virtue grows. Robert G. Ingersoll 1857 to 1899. This is a lovely metaphor from Ingersoll that captures how kindness creates the conditions for moral development, much like sunlight enables plants to grow. It's particularly interesting coming from Ingersoll, known as the Great Agnostic, who often emphasized human values and ethics outside of religious frameworks. The comparison of kindness to sunshine is rich with meaning. Like sunshine, kindness is freely given. Both create an environment that nurtures growth. Both can reach many recipients simultaneously. Neither can be hoarded or diminished by being shared. Both work gradually but powerfully over time. The idea that virtue grows, rather than simply appears, is also significant. It suggests that moral character develops organically when nurtured by kindness, both kindness received from others and kindness we extend to others. Just as a plant needs consistent sunlight to thrive, perhaps our capacity for virtue strengthens through regular exposure to and practice of kindness. I find it particularly meaningful how this metaphor implies that kindness isn't just a virtue itself, but actually helps cultivate other virtues, like honesty, courage, or justice. Have you observed this nurturing effect of kindness in your own experience? Team quote 4.2. Goodness is the only investment that never fails. Henry David Thoreau 1817 to 1862. This is a profound statement from Thoreau that frames goodness in economic terms, yet points to a value that transcends material wealth. It's particularly meaningful coming from Thoreau, who chose to live simply at Walden Pond, and often critiqued society's focus on material investments. By using the word investment, Thoreau suggests that goodness yields returns over time, compounds in value, creates lasting worth, pays dividends in unexpected ways, remains valuable regardless of external circumstances. The word never is key here. While financial investments can fail, markets can crash, and material wealth can disappear, the returns of goodness, in terms of its impact on ourselves, others, and society, remain constant. Whether in relationships, personal growth, or societal impact, acts of goodness continue to generate positive effects. I find it interesting how this perspective challenges conventional views of investment and return. While most investments are about accumulating more for ourselves, goodness as an investment often means giving something of ourselves. Yet paradoxically, this kind of investment enriches us in deeper ways. What's your perspective on this? Have you found goodness to be a reliable investment in your experience? Team quote 4.3. Independence is happiness. Susan B. Anthony 1820 to 1906. This concise yet powerful statement from Susan B. Anthony captures a fundamental truth she discovered through her lifelong fight for women's rights and suffrage. Given her life's work, independence here likely carries multiple layers of meaning. Personal autonomy, the ability to make one's own choices. Financial independence, controlling one's own economic destiny. Political independence, having a voice in governance through voting. Intellectual independence, forming one's own thoughts and beliefs. Social independence, freedom from restrictive social conventions. The directness of equating independence with happiness rather than saying it leads to or contributes to happiness, is striking. Anthony suggests that independence isn't just one path to happiness, it is happiness. This reflects her own experience fighting against the severe limitations placed on women in 19th century America. What makes this quote particularly poignant is that Anthony dedicated her life to securing independence not just for herself, but for all women. She understood that individual happiness was intrinsically linked to collective liberation and equality. Do you find this equation of independence with happiness rings true in your own experience? What aspects of independence do you find most essential to well-being? Team quote 4.4. Good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. St. Jerome 347 AD, 420 AD. This quote from St. Jerome presents a powerful philosophy of continuous self-improvement through a memorable, almost rhythmic structure. It's fascinating that a message from the 4th century remains so relevant to modern discussions of personal development and excellence. St. Jerome, known primarily for translating the Bible into Latin, the Vulgate, embodied this principle in his own scholarly work. He continually revised and improved his translations, demonstrating the very progression he describes, from good to better to best. The quote's three-part progression suggests that excellence isn't a destination but a journey. It discourages complacency at any level of achievement. The phrase, "never let it rest," is particularly striking. It implies that even when we reach what we consider best, there might still be room for improvement. This mindset has influenced fields far beyond Jerome's religious context, from education and sports to business and personal development. It speaks to the human capacity for continuous growth while acknowledging that improvement happens in stages, not all at once. Team quote 4.5. Man arrives as a novice at each age of his life. Nicholas Chamfort 1741 to 1794. This is a wonderfully humble observation from Chamfort that captures something profound about the human experience. Despite our tendency to think we become experts at life as we age, each new phase brings its own unique challenges that we must learn to navigate anew. The word novice is particularly telling here. It implies that at each stage of life, we are in some ways beginners again. The teenager learning to navigate young adulthood, the new parent facing the challenges of raising a child, the retiree adjusting to a new phase of life, the elder dealing with the changes that come with aging. There's something both humbling and liberating in this perspective. Humbling because it acknowledges that experience in one phase of life doesn't automatically make us experts in the next. Liberating because it suggests it's natural and acceptable to feel uncertain or inexperienced as we enter new life stages. I find it interesting that Chamfort uses arrives rather than becomes, suggesting each age is like a new country we enter, where we must learn the local customs and ways of being. Have you found this to be true in your own experience? That each new phase of life requires its own kind of learning and adjustment. Team quote 4.6. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Harriet Tubman 1822-1913. This powerful quote from Harriet Tubman carries special weight coming from someone who transformed her own dreams of freedom into reality, not just for herself, but for hundreds of others through the Underground Railroad. Her life embodied this principle in the most profound way. The simplicity of the statement belies its depth. It acknowledges that while great achievements may require many things: resources, support, opportunity, timing, they all start with an individual daring to dream. In Tubman's case, she dared to dream of freedom in a time when such dreams were considered dangerous and impossible by many. What makes this quote particularly meaningful is that Tubman isn't just talking about idle daydreaming. Her understanding of dreaming was active and courageous, the kind that requires commitment, risk, and determination to bring into reality. Her own dreams led to concrete action that changed history. The word begins is key here. It suggests that while the dreamer is essential, they are just the starting point. Great dreams often grow beyond their original dreamer to inspire and involve others, creating movements and changes that ripple through time. Just as Tubman's own dream of freedom continued to inspire generations after her. Have you experienced this in your own life? How dreams can be the catalyst for real change when paired with action? Team quote 4.7. He knows not his own strength, that has not met adversity. Ben Jonson 1572 to 1637. This profound observation from Ben Jonson speaks to how adversity serves as a revealer of our hidden capabilities. It's interesting that he frames it as a matter of knowledge. It's not that we don't have strength without adversity, but rather that we don't know our own strength until adversity reveals it. The quote suggests that our true capabilities often lie dormant until circumstances force them to emerge. Like a muscle that grows stronger through resistance, our inner resources, resilience, courage, creativity, determination, often reveal themselves only when we face significant challenges. There's also something paradoxical here. Adversity, which we typically think of as weakening us, actually becomes the means by which we discover our strength. It's as if Jonson is saying that what we perceive as our normal strength is just the surface of our true capabilities. This perspective reframes adversity from being purely negative to serving an important purpose in human development. While we might not welcome challenges, they serve as crucial tests that reveal what we're truly capable of. Have you found this to be true in your own experience? That facing difficulties has revealed strengths you didn't know you had? Team quote 4.8. Aim for the highest. Andrew Carnegie 1835 to 1919. This deceptively simple directive from Carnegie carries significant weight, given his own journey, from poor Scottish immigrant to becoming one of history's most successful industrialists and philanthropists. It's interesting that while he accumulated enormous wealth, this advice isn't specifically about money. It's about excellence in any pursuit. The word aim is active and intentional. It's not about wishful thinking or vague hopes, but rather about conscious, deliberate targeting of high goals. It implies careful consideration and precise orientation of one's efforts, much like an archer taking careful aim. What's particularly striking is that Carnegie doesn't qualify this statement with practical limitations or caveats. He doesn't say, aim reasonably high, or aim within your means. It's an uncompromising call to target the absolute highest possibility. This aligns with his own life philosophy, where he repeatedly set and achieved increasingly ambitious goals. Yet there's also an implicit acknowledgement that aiming is distinct from achieving. It's about orientation and effort rather than guaranteed outcomes. The focus is on having the highest aspirations regardless of whether they seem immediately achievable. Does this philosophy of aiming for the absolute highest resonate with your own approach to goals and achievements? And if you'd like to help raise school test scores and self-confidence, you can give your kids free Easy Extra Advantage math, spelling and reading workbooks you can download for free at stop2think.com or buy at educationstopshate.com. Free Easy Math Wisdom workbooks with Octo-Repetition to grow math self-confidence. You'll get plenty of repetitive practice of age ranges and averages of our 52 teams of 8 quote authors. Free Easy Alpha Cypher coded puzzles teach letters, numbers, and phrases using antique wisdoms that encourage and educate. Can you decode this Cypher quote of encouragement using either our learning to spell or just for fun instructions? And since time is money, practice reading faster with 52 teams of antique rival wisdoms that have passed the test of time to encourage, educate, and entertain generations for centuries. We offer printed versions and timed videos with background music. Sign up for free weekly emails of 52 teams of antique rival wisdom workbooks with easy math, spelling, and reading practice. And if you'd like to get paid for sharing our wearable wisdoms, keep this in mind. Everyone I know wears a shirt, and most of us change them daily, so change your shirt and change the world. Social equalities are blatantly subliminal antique positive wisdoms repetitively shared without saying a word. This applies to all our wearable shareable wisdoms, like pretty witty baby onesies and baby tees that you and others will see and read multiple times a day. The same is true with pretty witty kids, but they'll also share these wisdoms with anyone that can read at daycare or school. Youthful truths let your kids gain confidence sharing antique wisdoms with their friends. Imagine them sharing words of wisdom with classmates and teachers. I think, therefore I think tees I wear is a super easy way to share words of wisdom that have passed the test of time. Our social equalities help make us all wiser and kinder with blatantly subliminal messages promoting a more fair and equal opportunity society for all. And don't forget our giftwisdoms.com for birthdays and holidays that makes it easy to share the wisdom with clothing, coffee mugs, and magnets. So do the future a favor by encouraging, educating, and entertaining with words of wisdom that have passed the test of time to make us all wiser and kinder. With wearable wisdoms to fit babies, kids, and adults, you can clothe a whole family, city, or state. Join the 52 of 8 today at 52of8.com.